What's up, beautiful people? My name is Jordan and welcome back to my channel. I know I have not made video in so long, and so I'm so sorry, but I've been super busy. I know that's always the excuse, but anyways, I recently had my birthday on May 1st, and so I basically went on vacation. I was doing all this stuff. I was off work for 2 weeks. It was nice and it was awesome. I went and I spent my birthday weekend pretty much in Dallas at Dallas Frightmare convention, which is what I'm going to be talking about. Um, as y'all know, if you might know, I am probably the biggest Saw fan you're ever going to meet in your entire life. I guarantee freaking it. I'm the biggest Saw fan you're ever going to meet. So, I have a Saw tattoo. If anybody has seen it, it's here. Yeah, so I'm a little insane. I literally watch the Saw movies over and over and over and over, and that's what I've done for probably the past 2 years. I watched the movies like as they came out. I think the first movie came out when I was like 13, but I didn't see it. I saw Saw 2 first. Anyways, it's a long, confusing story, but basically what I'm saying is Saw has been in my life since I was about 12 or 13. And so I've kept up with it. I got the Blu-ray of it was all of the first seven movies for $7.50 at Walmart, and it had the digital copy. And I got that about 2.5 years ago, and I put it on my laptop, and I literally that's all I watch. Like, I literally have probably seen all of the Saw movies at least 100 times each, including Jigsaw, which is the most recent one. So anyways, y'all clicked on this video to hear about Texas Frightmare, not to hear me just rant about Saw, even though I could talk about Saw for forever. I do have if you've seen all 8 movies and you want to see something really stupid, I did upload a video where I basically gave the entire premise and story of Saw, all of the freaking movies, and I am drunk while I'm doing it. So I'm going to link that down below, basically the drunk history of Saw. It's something good to watch if you're ever bored, or if you know you're never going to watch the movies, and I just spoil everything, so whatever. All right, so yes, and then Shinedown's new album came out as well. Shinedown's album came out the day that I was driving to Frightmare, which was super awesome because I live in Houston and the convention was held in Dallas. So it's about a 4.5 to 5 hour drive. So I downloaded Shinedown's new album and I blasted it on repeat the entire way to Dallas. And so now I like know all the songs. So yeah, Shinedown's my favorite band besides Fall Out Boy, of course. But anyways, I am super ADD in case you cannot tell. So we're getting back on track. So of course, my birthday was May 1st. So the weekend, the convention was May 4th through the 6th. So I went and stayed up with one of my really good friends. Her name's Keely, and I met her at Fall Out Boy in San Antonio, and she's really cool. And so I went and stayed up at her house that she has with her roommates, and her roommates are chill as fuck too. So that was a really cool experience, getting to stay up at their house and like hang out. And it was awesome. So anyways, me and Keely went to the convention on Friday, which it didn't open until 6 p.m. And I was not expecting Billy Zane to be there. He got announced like 3 days before the convention. And I am like a huge Titanic fan, like obsessed with Titanic. It's my favorite movie of all time. I've said since I was little that I was going to name my future son Dawson. And my email is Jordan Dawson. Like, I am like a huge Titanic fan. So I was not expecting Billy Zane to be there. If you don't know who Billy Zane is, he's basically the guy who plays Cal, who is Rose's fiance, who's like a total douchebag. But I had a huge crush on him when I was little. So like I met Billy Zane and that was absolutely incredible. I like went up to him and I was like, I've had a crush on you for 20 years. And he looked at me like, oh my God. It was so embarrassing. But I had the picture for him to sign of him putting the Heart of the Ocean necklace on Kate Winslet. And so I had my own Heart of the Ocean necklace that I brought with me. And I was like, for the picture, can we put this on? You can put it on me. And he was like, yeah. And so he took it. And well, okay, so I said, I've had a crush on you for 20 years. I said, when I was little, I was always a Cal girl instead of a Jack girl. And he goes, well, there's two kinds of women in the world. He goes, the smart ones, and then, and I was like, oh my God, you're so cute. And also, he's 52, and he has not a single wrinkle on his face. Like, what the fuck? Like, this guy ages beautifully. So anyways, Billy Zane's beautiful. And so he took my necklace and he started like humming the tune from the movie while he was putting it around my neck. And then we took the pictures. And then like as I was walking away, like we pounded it. And he and he was like, it's been 20 years, here's to 20 more. And I was like, yes. And then okay, so we're getting to the main reason why I went. I mainly went because one of my favorite actors from Saw rarely ever comes to America. And I had to go because I have been wanting to meet this guy for so long. And his name is Kostas Mandylor, and he is a Greek actor who is in Saw, and he plays Detective Hoffman. And Detective Hoffman is, quite honestly, the love of my life. And, well, Strom was the love of my life, but we all saw what happened to him. So, Hoffman is bae. And so I was like, I have to meet Kostas. Like, I've wanted to meet Kostas for so long. And I was like, and then he was announced about 5 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, he's actually coming to Texas. Oh my God, I have to go. And so he's like the main reason I went. Originally, I was just going to go on Sunday and just go for him. And just like literally speed up to Dallas, take a picture with him, talk to him, and then come back home like immediately. And I'm glad I decided to stay the whole weekend because it was nice to get like a little vacation, and especially since it was like my birthday weekend, and it was just really cool. So anyway, I went and I met Kostas. And this whole weekend is pretty much going to talk about Kostas because I love him. So I was so nervous to walk up to him. When I first went into the convention, before I met Billy Zane, before I met anybody, like there was no map of where each celebrity was. So I was like, I'm going to walk around and I'm going to find him. And because I wanted kind of like that shock factor of like, oh my God, there he is, you know, kind of thing. And so I was like, okay, so I got my pass and I walked in. And literally the second I walk in, his booth is right by the door. Shooketh. I was shooketh. And so I walked in and like he was talking to another fan or whatever. And like he didn't have many people in his line, but he was talking to another fan. And I walked in and I just like, I like froze. And I was like, and I like, my heart started pounding and I like got teary eyed. Like I was like, what the fuck? Like, why am I freaking out so bad right now? Probably because of the shock factor, because I'm a dumb bitch and I decided to scare myself pretty much. But anyways, I love him. He's a cool dude. And so I was so stoked to finally meet him. And like, if you've ever seen the Saw movies, Hoffman's like a huge part of it. So yeah. So I was like, okay, I need to go meet Billy Zane because I know he's in here first. So I went and met Billy Zane. And then I lost my friend. Keely went somewhere else. I don't know where the fuck she went. Like we just like lost each other because there was no service down there. It was like in a basement type of convention center. And so we had no service. We couldn't reach each other. So I was like, we'll find each other again. So I was like, okay, I met Billy. I'm chill. Let me go meet Kostas. Because originally I wanted Keely with me so that I would not be freaking out so much. But I was like, you know what? Let's get this over with. And so, so I walked up to him. And he had someone else in line in front of me. And so he was talking to them for a while. And then I stepped forward and I was legitimately shaking. I was like this. Like trying not to look like an idiot. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And so I freaking walked up and I was like, hi. And I was like, I'm a little nervous. And he stood up and he just walked around the table to me. He goes, you know what I do to people who are nervous, right? And I was like, oh God. I remember looking at him and saying out loud, oh God. And he just walked over to me and he scooped me up into this big, huge bear hug. And he just squeezed me. And like my face was up against his face. And it was just this nice, good, lovely hug. And it was just like, Probably one of the best hugs ever, to be honest. Patrick Stump obviously gives the best hugs, but Costas is definitely number 2 now. Definitely. I rate celebrity hugs, and his is definitely number 2. Patrick will always be number 1. I'm sorry. So anyways, Costas is so sweet. So he gave me a big hug, and then I was calm. And the funny thing is that I'm 5'9". Okay, I'm not short. I'm 5'9". I was wearing 4-inch heels, and Costas was still taller than me. So I was like, okay, this is cool. And so I was talking to him for a while. I was like, listen, I just met Carrie Elwes a couple weeks ago. I was like, and I told him that I am a Hoffman fan. And I was like, Carrie kind of got mad. And because like Carrie Elwes plays Dr. Gordon, and he's kind of Hoffman's nemesis. And so Costas thought that was so funny. And so I showed Costas my Saw tattoo, everything. Like he signed my autograph. He signed an autograph for me, like everything. I forgot. Like I'm completely blanking on the very first like time I actually met him. I will probably remember shit later and regret it. But so the first time was just really chill, and then like we took pictures together, which here's like our first pictures together, which they didn't come out so great because I was like, I always smile in pictures. But for some reason, my dumb ass decided to go, and I was like, when I saw the pictures, I was like, bitch, why'd you do that? Like, what are you doing? Like, you always smile in pictures. Like, why are you making a weird face? And like, I don't know, it was just weird. And so, and then I got nervous and I just ran away. And I was like, he's going to be here the whole weekend. Like, I can always see him again, you know? And I just wanted to get the first one over with so I felt comfortable with him. And then, so me and Keely pretty much went home after that. We went back to her house and we watched Cooties, which is one of my favorite movies because I love Lee Winnell, who is also in Saw because I'm Saw trash. Anyways, and then so the next day we went to the convention and I was like, I'm not going to meet Costas today. I was like, today my goal is to meet Shawnee, who plays Amanda in Saw, who I also was super psyched to meet because I've never met her. I have met Tobin, so I was like, I'm not going to meet Tobin, but I did end up meeting Tobin because my friend was in line to meet Tobin, so I was like, I'm waiting in line, so fuck it. And so anyways, so the only people I met on Saturday were Shawnee and Tobin. So anyways, I'm going to go into this. I went to the Saw panel and I went to the Saw panel and I decided to ask Costas a question at the panel because nobody was asking him questions and he was just sitting there and I'm not going to say being ignored, but he was kind of being ignored, or he was like disassociating and just staring off. And I was just like, and then Darren Bousman, who was like the director of Saw 2, 3, and 4, was like joking with him and was like, Costas, like, like stop talking so much. And then they would laugh. And so they were basically picking on him for like, well, it wasn't his choice to not participate, but you know what I'm saying? He wasn't really being included in the conversation. So I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm a huge Hoffman fan. I am going to ask a question. And okay, this is when it gets really funny because I was sitting right next to Keely. We were in the third row of the panel because VIP didn't take up very much space. So we were in the third row, which is like in distance of them. Like they could see us perfectly fine. And so I was like, you know what? This is kind of Saw spoilers, by the way. I mean, it's not, but there's a uncertainty whether Hoffman is dead in the series. Nobody really knows if he died or not. So I turned to Keely, who was right next to me, and I was like, I whispered, and I was like, I think I'm gonna ask if Hoffman is dead. And she misheard me. And she dead ass goes, if Hoffman's gay? I lost my shit and I started laughing so hard out loud. I mean, I tried to compose myself, like, but that was so unexpected. And like, Keely was like looking at me like all confused. And then she started laughing, and I was like, no, if Hoffman's dead. And then we both started laughing, and like, I don't think we made that much noise. Like, I really don't think we made that much noise. So I think I was just being paranoid. But our other friend who was with us, her name's Carrie, she said that they looked at us when we were laughing. And I felt like a dumb bitch. I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And like, I didn't interrupt anybody. Like, I didn't like really like mess anything up. But just the fact that I probably had them all staring at me because I was a giggly bitch, because it was Keely's fault for being like, if Hoffman's gay. She dead ass thought I said that, because Hoffman's never with a woman, so I mean that could legitimately be a question. So she was really curious if I was gonna ask that, and just it was freaking hilarious. So anyway, me and Keely like text each other like every couple of days. We're like, if Hoffman's gay, and like we both crack the fuck up. So it's like an inside joke now. But anyways, I am going to include my video here of when I asked Costas if Hoffman is dead. So here it is.
It's like you right there. So I'm glad you asked that. That's actually... Yeah, I have some things I want to say about that. What's the question again? Yeah, fuck my head. Do you think Hoffman is dead?
Did anybody see him die? No. I think the answer is that. This is our favorite something to the producers. We want Dawson back.
See hands straight there. Yeah.
I used closed captions because you could barely hear me. So hopefully that video was not too bad. So yeah. Yeah. I am super happy. So, all right. So I went up to Shawnee right after that. I went and got in her line. And so I love her so much, and she's so teeny tiny. Like, you'd think she was like really small, but she is so tiny. She's like 5'1", and like, so I walked up to her. I was super nervous because I just love her, and like, I eventually want a portrait tattoo of her face in the reverse bear trap tattooed on my thigh. Like, that's goals, but that's gonna cost like $1,000 or more. So I definitely want to save up and make it not look like ass. So anyways, I told her that I am going to get it tattooed, and she kind of looked at me like, oh my God, like, it was so cute. And so I told her, it's really funny because Shawnee at the panel was saying about how her daughter's 19 and she won't let her watch the Saw movies. Her daughter's 19 and she won't let him watch the Saw movies. So I went up to Shawnee and I was like, I watched the Saw movies when I was 12, and like the look on her face was like traumatized, and like I was like, I snuck and watched them. Like, I was banned from watching them, and I snuck and I watched them. And so she wrote on my autograph, she wrote, "You sneaky girl," and she's so cute. And so we took our pictures together, and she's so sweet. I just love her so much. And then so like right after that, I knew Keely and Carrie were in line to meet Tobin. And I'd already met Tobin, and I didn't bring very much money with me to the convention because I was broke. And so I was like, I mean, I had my birthday money, but still, I didn't want to spend all of it. So I went and I got in the line for Tobin with Carrie and Keely. And the convention closed we were halfway through the line and the convention closed. And then the guy came out running the autographs and stuff and was like, so Tobin is going to still keep doing autographs and taking pictures. He's staying after close, and he's such a trooper. He's such a nice guy. Like, whenever I met him in Atlanta, he was just the sweetest man. I love him. And Tobin, of course, is the guy who plays Jigsaw, the elderly man. Yeah, I love him. And so he has like the coolest voice in the world. So we probably waited in line like 2.5 hours, and it wasn't even that long of a line, but Tobin really like talks to people and like makes you feel special, you know? And so we went through the line, and by this time, like, the con closed at 7 that night, and it was like 9:30 by the time we got up to him. And so I was like, you know what, I've waited in line, why not just get another autograph, you know, and like talk to him and get another picture, and like, why not, because I waited in the line anyway, because I was just waiting for Keely. But anyways, so I went up and I got a picture, because I kind of wanted another excuse to go up to Costas the next day without looking crazy, because I'd already gotten an autograph. So I was like, okay, let me get a picture, because they have pictures laid out and you can pick them up, and that's the one you get signed. So there was a print of Hoffman with Tobin, Hoffman with Jigsaw, and it's from a scene from Saw 5, which is my favorite scene of the entire series. And so I picked it up and I was like, okay, I'm going to get Tobin to sign it, and then tomorrow I'm going to get Costas to sign it too, so I can get like another autograph from Costas without looking fucking crazy. And so I went up to Tobin and I was like, I put the picture down, and I was like, hi. I was like, so I drove 5 miles just to meet you again. And he goes, that's the first time a woman said that to me in a long time. He's so sweet. And I was like, yeah, I was like, the first time I met you was in Atlanta and all this. And he smiled at me. And then he kind of looked at me and he goes, I think you're about my height. And I was like, I think so. And I was like, I almost wore my heels today. And I was like, but I didn't want to intimidate. He goes, yeah, and you wouldn't want to do that. You'd be limping. You'd have hurt feet. You'd be limping. And I was like, you're so sweet. And then he looked at my name, and it's spelled Jordyn, of course. And, cause like they put like sticky notes on the thing so they know like what to make it out to. And so, he was like, I love the spelling of your name, Jordan. And I was like, thanks. I got it for my birthday. I don't know why the fuck I said that, but he looked at me and laughed, and I was like, that was the stupidest joke I could have ever told. He didn't really laugh, but he like did like a smile laugh. He was like kind of thing, like it was stupid, but I think he found it amusing. I don't know if he was just being nice, but that was like so dumb. Like, why did I say that? But anyways, we were talking, and he was really nice. He signed my picture, and then I took my pictures with him, and he's just such a sweet guy. Like, and then I told him, I love your voice, and he said, thank you. And he's so cool. And so here's my picture with him again. And yeah, I just love him. I wish I'd talked to him about the World Series, because like he's a huge Astros fan, and I talked to him about that in Atlanta when we were up for the World Cup. Not the World Cup. I just was watching Harry Potter. World Series, and he was really like rooting for the Astros. I wish I'd talked to him about him. I wish I'd talked about the Astros to him, which I'm not even a big sports fan, but he is. So I thought like it would be cool to talk to him about it. So I forgot. It's fine. And so Keely went up to him, and she'd met him before, but very briefly. And at this point, the convention had been over for a few hours, right? And he wasn't supposed to write any words. He was just supposed to write the name, Love Tobin, Jigsaw, blah, blah, blah. But she asked him, she was like, can you write Cherish Your Life? Because she wanted to get it tattooed in his handwriting. And he did one better. Like, he wrote this whole thing about you're a treasure, never forget that, every day should be cherished, things like this. He wrote like a whole paragraph, and like Keely was sobbing, and I was like, oh my god. Because that's like the thing about the Saw franchise, is like, it's not just gore. Like, obviously there is gore aspects in it, but it really is just this huge intricate story, and about like appreciating and cherishing your life. And it's just like, I don't know, it's like my favorite thing in the world. It really is. And it's just like, I don't know, it's important to me. So I know a lot of people just say, oh, it's just gore fest, but it's totally not. So anyways, Keely cried. And so the con was over for a few hours, like I said. And so we were like, we need to go find the car. And so this is when it gets funny. This is when my soul left my body. So, okay. What happened was we needed to go find the car, and the car was in a parking garage, And we didn't remember which parking garage we parked it in. So we remembered we parked it in parking garage C. And so we were like, okay, let's get a ride to parking garage C. But I was like, we don't have to get a ride. Like, we can just walk to it. Like, I know where it is. Like, it's just right over there. Like, it's not that hard of a walk. And, like, Carrie and Keely were like, no, we're going to get on, or Carrie, actually, was like, we're going to get on this bus, this little tram, like the airport tram. It's not a bus, but it's like a tiny little, like, airport tram. Because the convention was held in an airport hotel. So it was attached to the airport. So it was like this tiny little, like, 12-person seater bus thing. So I was like, we don't need to go on that. And Carrie was like, yes, we do. Let's go. And I was like, fine. And so she got on first. And I was like, we don't need to get on here again. And Carrie kind of looked around the bus and was like, get on the bus. Jordan, get on the bus. And I was like, okay, fine. And so I got on the bus. I sat down. And the bus started going. And I'm just chilling at the back of the bus. It's kind of like a limo, how there's like row right here, row right here. So they're like facing each other, so you ride sideways. So I was chilling at the back of the bus. All of a sudden, I hear a very deep voice. Very deep voice. A voice that I've known for the past 10 years. And I look to the left, and Costas is sitting right there. He didn't see me. He didn't see anybody. He was just sitting, looking at his phone, talking to the bus driver. And his deep voice, that's Hoffman's voice. Like the second I heard it, and I didn't have my glasses on, so I squinted, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I like trying not to freak out and like make myself look crazy. But I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, is that Costas, to my friends? And Keely was like, oh my God, it is. And Carrie was just laughing because Carrie saw him. And that's why we got on the bus. And I was like, oh my God. And so I was like so worried, so nervous. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he's right there. I took a tiny little like 5-second video just to prove I was on the bus with him. I'm not going to post it because that's like kind of invasion of privacy because he was like wrapped up in a blanket and he was just chilling. So I'm not going to, but he was on the bus. I have proof that he was on the bus. If you want to tweet me, DM, I have proof. And so I was like, I'm not going to talk to him while I'm on the bus. I'm not even going to make my presence known. And we were on the bus with him for like a minute and a half, maybe. And then we got to our destination first, and he was still sitting. And I was like, okay, I have to walk past him. And I was like, don't say anything. But of course, I have no filter. I had to say something. So I was like, oh God. And so I was walking out of the bus, and I let my friends go first, and I like kind of stopped right in front of him, and I was like, bye, Costas. And he looked up at me with like these beautiful blue eyes that he has, and it was just like, and then he smiled like really big, and he was like, oh hey, he's like, thanks for the question at the panel. And I was like, oh my God, he remembered me. I was like, oh my God. I was like Heidi, and I was like, oh my God. And he was like, thanks for the question at the panel. He's like, I ain't dead yet. And then he got off the bus. And I was like, oh my God. I was freaking the fuck out. And like, I have a video of like me, like right after it happened. Here that is. Okay, so what just happened was the fact that we had to take a bus shuttle to the parking garage that we were at. And so, so my friend got on first, didn't tell me because like she thought that it would either be funny or like, she was like, you'll notice. And so I didn't. And then so like we're sitting there chilling, and then all of a sudden he starts talking, and my head whips around, and I'm like, oh my God, is that fucking Costas? And fucking, I like start freaking out, and then like we're on the bus for like less than 2 minutes together, okay? And I didn't say anything to him, okay? And so I was so nervous, like I didn't say anything. And then when I was getting off of the fucking bus, I go, bye, Costas, and he looked up with like his beautiful blue eyes, like just like shocked that someone like recognized it. Like he looked up and he goes, oh, he's like, hey, thanks for that question at the panel. And he's like, I'm not dead yet. I'm like, what the fuck? And, like, so I basically just reiterated everything. And I was just freaking the fuck out. And I was like, oh my God. And then so the next day, me and Keely went home. And I think we watched Saw 5 that night. Yeah, we watched Saw 5, which is, like, my favorite. Well, Saw 3, and then Saw 5, and then Saw 6. But anyways, we watched Saw 5 that night because we wanted to. But me, Carrie, and Keely went to Chick-fil-A and we chilled for a while. And I was fucking freaking out. And just talking about the coincidence of literally the person that I drove up 5 hours to meet was on the same bus as me. So, and if we had not stayed to meet Tobin 3 hours after the convention was over, we've not have been on the same bus as Costas. And see, the bus was trying to close its doors when Carrie ran up to it. So, like, I don't know. It's just like, timing is everything, you know? So anyways, the next day, we went back to the convention, and I was like, the only person I have left to meet is just to see Costas again. And so I went up to him, and he was so sweet, and he smiled real big. He was like, I remember you. And I was just like, oh my God. And then so I went up to him and I was like freaking out. And then I was like, I just want to get you to sign this because I got Tobin to sign it yesterday. And so he signed it. He was like, what's your name again? And I was like, Jordan. And so he wrote down Jordan. He signed his name, everything. And then, like, I have a video, and this is what happened. No, I'm taking a video, actually, so.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Jordan. Don't forget me now.
I'll never forget you. You're not dead.
And to all your friends, I ain't dead.
You're not dead. Thank you. Give a big smile. He's so cute. And then, like, right after that, we were talking some more. He gave me a huge hug, and he was like, you smell good. And I was like, thanks. I was like, sorry, what? He was like, you smell good. And I was like, thanks. I was like, okay. I was like, okay. All right, cool. So anyways, I was drunk, by the way, at this point, because Keely wanted to go meet the guy that plays Pinhead in Hellraiser. And so I was like, time to get a hurricane so that I'm not nervous when I go up to Costas. And I was so drunk by the time I went up to Costas. So I was drunk as shit in that video I just showed you, like, so drunk. And yeah, so, and then I have this lovely video.
Hold on a second. Somebody sent me. Did you get on the internet and tell them?
No, we didn't. I went on the internet.
Yeah, because my friend sent me your post. I started laughing.
The post of me on the bus with you? That's...
And the fact, and just remember this, when you walked away, I ain't dead yet, and I heard you laugh.
Yeah. That was Can we take a selfie together? Such a crazy experience. Okay. So basically, he had a friend who sent him the post that I wrote about seeing him on the bus, and he saw it and he laughed. And I am shooketh by that. And the fact that he freaking read my post, like, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. So, yeah. Oh my God. So, that's embarrassing that he read my post. I could have made the post a lot worse, and so I'm glad I didn't. So anyways, yeah. And then I was like holding my drink and I walked away without my autograph. Like I left my autograph on the table. And he goes, hey, don't forget your picture. And I was like, oh yeah, thanks. I was like, sorry. I'm halfway through this drink and I'm already loopy. And he was like, I wish I was drinking right now. I was like, yeah. I know that feel, son. I know that feel. So, yeah. And then Keely was like freaking out because like that was her first time meeting him, and she wasn't even that big of a Hoffman fan, but like after she met him, she became a Hoffman fan. And we went home that day and we rewatched Saw 6 and 7, which we'd both already seen, but of course, like we just had to rewatch them because Hoffman. And so we went and watched 6 and 7, and then the next day we went and saw Infinity War again, and then I drove home, and it was all fun and dandy. So like it was like such a cool weekend. I finally met Shawnee and Costas and Billy Zane of all people. Like what the fuck? Like why are you at a freaking horror convention. I love it though. And the fact that I was watching Titanic when he got announced is funny to me. It's just hilarious because apparently I have magic powers. Like I can make my favorite person that I literally drove up there for be on the bus with me, and I can also watch a movie and that person get announced for a convention that I'm going to the next day. So anyways, thank you for watching. I am Saw Trash. Nice to meet ya. Anyways, I'm gonna probably go watch Saw right now, so thanks for watching, you guys. Y'all are awesome. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, all that good stuff. I'm still working on my novel. If anybody has any questions about that, just DM me on Twitter or ask me on Twitter. I'm still working on it. I am trying to perfect it, make it look perfect. I'm not finished with the rough draft just yet because I want it to be perfect before I send it out to beta readers, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, that's a little update on that. So thanks for watching, you guys. I just really love Costas Mandylor and Tobin Bell and Shawnee Smith and Billy Zane. So thanks for watching. Toodles.